down to sort of women's health. So I found that there was always this disconnect with women in training. I felt like my guy clients they were smashing it, they were doing brilliant, they were getting great results, always good results. My female clients, it's kind of up and down with them. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, this has happened, I've not lost weight. Why have I not lost weight? All this kind of thing. So then I started to delve into that a wee bit more. Why are they not losing weight? Then, as part of the fitness industry, and I don't know if maybe Nikki, you'll feel this being a woman in the fitness industry, but there's a lot of pressure to look good in there. So then I started training all the time, bashing my hormones to bits, like up early in the morning, doing a fasted cardio, because I mean, that was what you would read in the magazines, isn't it? So getting no results, but getting burnt out. So then I started to kind of get hormone problems myself, lost my period on a really restrictive calorie diet, and just basically a sort of snowball of disasters, fibrocystic breast syndrome, which I do talk a lot about because it's so common, fibrocystic breast syndrome, but I'll go into that a wee bit more later on. So training hard, losing my period, my mum not well, she had this sort of female health problem as well that could have been stopped if we'd have known stuff. I mean, that's where I want to educate everybody, is a bit on, you know, your own body as a woman, because I do believe that most of our health problems as women come from our hormones and a disconnect from our own body, not being in tune, not being able to understand the warning signs. Do you know what I mean? So that's how I got into it. Then I just went down a path of Chinese medicine, holistic medicine, and trying to work out how to heal the body itself and not go down the route of pharmaceuticals. I deal with a lot of women on the pill and stuff like that. And I do a lot of stuff to get them off the pill because nobody really knows what the pill does, which I can go into, Roy, if you want later on. I know today is more about how to phase your training around your period cycle, but I can go into some pill chat too.
Yeah, mate, if I am happy to just take the lead on this, just if we've got time, then you can just...
Yeah.
That's cool.
So that's basically my story. So I just got in my own kind of mix-ups and problems. I got into wondering why that would happen to me. Why was I so burnt out? Why was I losing my period? And then I just learned from there. And it's just so common. Once you start uncovering that, you realise how common it is and how much women suffer, like how much we just sit and suffer. Like I was talking to Nikki today, and she's just saying that she's a pure angry cow today. I don't actually know if she said cow, I've just added that word in. And she's like,
an angry cow.
Right, our man's sitting behind the door like that. She's an angry cow. But do you know what I mean? And we just suffer these symptoms. Like my partner, she gets a migraine all the time coming on her period, like just suffers it. Oh, I'm just some days in my bed for 2 days with a headache. Shouldn't suffer these things. PMT, most people get it. So we get the sore boobs and all that, but it's actually not normal. You shouldn't actually be suffering PMT. Otherwise you'll get a hormone imbalance that could be fixed. So one of the main ways, and I'm going to talk about that tonight, is how I've fixed the hormone issues is basically working with my hormone cycle. Now, I know a few of you might not have a natural period cycle anymore, whether you're older and you don't have a period, or you're perimenopausal, or you're on the pill. But I always tell my women, still do this, because we've got an infradian rhythm. So say we've got a circadian rhythm, and it's like your wee biological clock. So it starts to know when you're awake, when you're sleeping. And that way, when you go to sleep at the same time every night, you kind of wake up at the same time every day. Like that. So that's your rhythm. Your body loves a rhythm. So as women, we've got an infradian rhythm. So even if you're not having a period, I still think that you should cycle your training in this way. And it kind of works in a 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off sort of phase. So because everything's got a cycle, everything in nature's got a cycle, moon's got a cycle, we've got cycle of seasons. So I think even if you're not having a period cycle, you should still follow this structure that I do, because it's good to give yourself a wee break from being so intense. So if you want to, I'm going to start then just going through as if you're a person who has got a period. So from day one, and people who are tracking their periods sometimes don't know how to do this. So if you download an app, there's loads of apps. One of the apps I like to use is called Clue, and you just put in the first day of your period. That would be day one. So that's you started the follicular phase. So that's going to be a day of we start bleeding. You know, that day when you're like, pure sweating, and then you've been a wee bitch the day before, and then you have your period that day, and then you go, oh, that's why. I love you again, darling, that's why. So that's day 1. So in your wee tracker, you would put day 1. And normally women bleed for about 1 to 6 days, 7 days sometimes. There's nothing wrong with if you have a period for like 3 days. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong if you have a period for 7 days. But it doesn't really matter the time you bleed. It's actually the issue with your period is if you ovulate or not. That's the big deal. But I'll talk about that because that would happen in the second kind of week. So you've got day 1 to day 7. That's when we bleed. Now, see, in this phase, your hormones are so low. All your hormones are low. So that's why you're looking a bit grey. I've got a ring light on, so that's why I don't look grey. But you're looking a bit grey, I mean, a bit pale, a bit dark under the eyes. Your hormones are all low. So your estrogen hormone, which is your steroid hormone, that's your get up and go hormone, that's your motivational hormone. You can hit your training hard hormone. That's even low on these days. So this is the days. I still get my clients to do weights, but we just take it a bit easier because you always get something out of the weights. Don't know about you, Roy, but see if you're having a pure rotten day, you just, even if you do weights slow, you still get something out of that, even just for your mental health, don't you?
Yeah,
You're like that, you feel better. So see the next phase, this is the phase, this is the best phase of training. So this is your days 6 to 20 to 14. 6 to 14, you're still in your follicular phase, but your estrogen's high, it's peaking at this point. Now, this is the phase where you can do fasting, you can do low carb, you can do like hard CrossFit style training, and you won't disrupt much because that's your steroid hormone. This is your feel good time. You actually even look better. I don't know if you know about this study, Roy, but have you heard of the stripper study?
No.
You're like that, try to delete me off the computer. Delete. It's nothing bad. But what it is it's basically they did a study on strippers, and from day, like they did their cycle, on day 10 to day 14, they made the most money because they actually looked the best, and it was all their pheromones, and you just feel your best in these days. So this is when my training really, I step it up, and even I can see it, my female clients, they've got more in them, do you know what I mean? Day 14 comes. Now this is ovulation day, okay, day 14. And I just want to say, because a lot of people don't know this either, but you can only get pregnant for about 6 days of the month, right? So people are like always freaking out. Oh no, but I'll get pregnant if I come off the pill. Just with some knowledge and some clever planning, you won't get pregnant if you're not on the pill, okay? So 6 days a month, that's because sperm's got a 5-day shelf life. And then when you ovulate, your egg's got 1 day. So 6 days. So ovulation day, that's when your estrogen is at its highest point. This is when you'll be your strongest of the whole month. So see if you want to do like a personal best or something like that, day 14 is the day to smash it. But it is the day you're most prone to injuries. So you're going to do big controlled lifts on that day. That's when I do my deadlifts and my lifts that I'm confident with, because estrogen will make your tendons very loose. So you need to remember that. It's good to be mindful of that in the follicular phase, that you're not doing anything where you could get injured. You might find that you do get injured if you especially track your cycle, track it on those last couple of days before you ovulate, where your estrogen's really high. It could be you need to just do a wee bit more controlled lifts, but I would still go heavy on those lifts. So that's estrogen. So estrogen's that power hormone. That's what I like to call yang. It's all fire, everything's go. So that's your follicular phase. That's your first 2 weeks. By your first couple of days of bleeding, those 2 weeks, you're good to smash it. You're just good to do things with your diet and all that. Can restrict your calories. Perfect. Day 14 comes, then day 15, where we flip now. So we're more progesterone based. And this hormone's like your big cuddle. It's your soothing hormone. It's the chill out time, right? It's relaxing. Now, this is the time in these 2 weeks in the luteal phase, in these 2 weeks, where you'll find out if you've got a hormone imbalance, because this is where you're meant to feel calmer, when you're soothing. And see, like Nikki, you're saying that, I don't know where you are in your cycle, but if you were feeling like that kind of agitated way, then that would tell you that you've got a hormone imbalance, and it's to do with your progesterone. So your progesterone comes in. It's easy to annoy your progesterone. This is why I like to I don't step off the gas. I don't stop training because I'm a person that likes to train. I don't want to give my clients any excuses not to train like that on the phone. No, I'm on day 16 of my period, so no, I'll not be there. No. So I don't like to give you an excuse, but I do dial it back a bit. I do more conditioning stuff. I'm not doing big, heavy lifts, I've maybe upped my reps and made my weights a wee bit lighter. I'm doing a wee bit more CV stuff because progesterone allows that. Whereas in the estrogen phase, it was short, sharp sprints and stuff. So the reason I don't do that on the phase where my progesterone's coming in is because as soon as you start to stress your body out, and I know that you think, oh, I'm just training, so was I just love training, training's brilliant 3 times a day and all that, but I was suppressing that progesterone hormone. So I was getting PMT symptoms like massive killer tits, like can't even roll over in your bed. I don't know if you've ever, can't even roll over in your bed. That's no life, Roy. Can't even roll over in your bed. So I was getting symptoms like that. Also things like spotting before your periods, progesterone. There's loads of wee things, but if you can start to learn these warning signs, you can start to think, why is that happening? So mine was clearly linked to the stress that I was putting in my body with the restrictive eating and and that's fine because your body can handle that at the start of your cycle, but see that second half, you really need to sort of phase your training to suit that hormone, because if you don't, then the following period will be bad, the next period will be bad, and it'll just go down that wee trail and you'll just put up with it because it's just, oh well, what did I do? So the progesterone training for a week, so from day 14 up to I would say about day 24, 25, I'm doing more conditioning. That's what I'm doing. See, from day 25 to 28, that's usually a woman's cycle is about 28 days. Don't worry if it's a wee bit longer, it's okay. And if you're on the perimenopause, it could be a wee bit longer than that. So on those days, you just feel like you want to be alone. You just, a wee bit alone time. So that's when I tend to try and do more like mobility work. I'll do slow bear crawls, I'll do some yoga, and I'll just try and relax a wee bit, because for everything you do, like you're doing poundy stuff, you need a break. Like it might not feel to you like, oh, I'm just training, oh, I'm just trying to get 20,000 steps a day. Oh, I've been at work all day, I've got 9 kids I need to feed. Like that's all stress in your body. Then you're probably adding 6 cups of coffee a day. Now, if you're needing a 10K run and 3 cups of coffee before you can get yourself going in a day, then there's definitely something going on with your body, and it's tuning in. It's tuning into that. Like, do you get headaches 3 days before your period? Could be something to do with your progesterone. The problem you've got as well, which is more of a serious problem, when your progesterone is low and estrogen is then, because the progesterone will act as a wee buffer to estrogen, it will slow it down a bit. It's like, when you get a relationship and somebody's a bit mental in the relationship, and then you get the chilled out person. Progesterone's the chilled out person and the estrogen's the mental person. So the two of them work all right together. But see, when one's low, then estrogen's high, which causes things like breast cancer and other like female cancers, because that estrogen's left all around your body. And the problem with excess estrogen is it will do things in your body, like it will damage your liver, it will damage your gut. So you might be doing all the work in the world for your gut health, but if your estrogen is too high, then it's going to damage your gut. And that's because those two organs are the main bad boys in clearing out estrogen. So if they've got too much of it, it's too much workload. You know what it's like? You get too much on, you're gubbed. So the liver and the gut work together to get rid of estrogen. So if your progesterone's low because you're stressing it out, maybe you're training, just lifestyle stuff, and other reasons as well that progesterone can be low, but because we're talking about training, I'll relate it to that, then estrogen's high. Now, other things, estrogen being high, again, I don't want to give too much of an excuse, but it is harder to lose weight. And that was one of the things I was always confused about. I don't know about you, but you'll get clients and you're looking at their food diary and you're like, and their training's good and their food diary, and you're like, whose food diary is it you've stolen? Who's that? Do you know what I mean? And it could be a hormone imbalance, more so that you're not able to deal with because you just don't have the knowledge about it. Do you know what I mean? And I don't know if you've ever come across that.
In that follicular phase you were talking about, more glucose has been absorbed through the liver, and the gallbladder has to work a wee bit harder, and you can burn that out.
Yeah.
So if more glucose is being absorbed, then more water is being stored as well. So water retention's higher and stuff. So do you tend to find on one phase, because I know obviously like my wife's experience, she's a lot hungrier at certain phases of her cycle. Do you find that nutrition changes in terms of like appetite and stuff like that on specific phases?
And that's something I do as well. I cycle with my female clients, I cycle their diet, I cycle their supplements, and I cycle like their self-care routine, skin changes around. I mean, it goes on. It's a big list of things that if you're not going with a rhythm, you're missing out. Like your skin changes on your cycle. You'll find this, girls, sometimes in your cycle, your skin feels dry. Do you know what I mean? Your hair's just not sitting good. Just in that day you're raging into it, that day you're raging, your hair is sitting shite. So, you know, everything changes on your cycle. So you're saying, yeah, your nutrition does change totally, because progesterone, even though it makes you crave carbs, so you're like, I want something to eat, you're wanting a wee bit of something, you're actually more sensitive to carbs in those 2 weeks. So it's pure rotten for birds, isn't it? You want carbs, but they make you fatter those 2 weeks. Everything's shite. What do men get? Men get midlife crises, I know that. That's what you're going to get, Roy, soon. How many years? 2 years left?
You've been a wee Porsche.
Beep, beep. Roy, across the front. So you're right. So what were you saying about the water retention? You obviously, that's a touchy subject. You've got to say, my bird looks massive, 2 days.
I didn't mention my wife in that sentence, by the way.
You did, didn't he?
Throw me under the bus.
You actually did say about his missus there. I was like, there, oh, she online? No, but yeah. You do, you can hold water, but it can just depend. I get my clients, I don't know if you've seen my wee morning tonic that I tell everybody to drink in the morning. So what that is it's vinegar, apple cider vinegar, because that helps balance out your blood sugar. Apple cider vinegar is one of these funny things where you'll see like Gwyneth Paltrow like drinking it and bathing in it. It's not that good, right? The only thing it's good for is this. It helps the acidity of your stomach. So sometimes in the phases of our cycle, progesterone phase, our stomach can become a wee bit more alkaline. That causes us lots of issues being women, digesting food. But again, it's something to do with the water retention as well. So in the wee morning tonic, I have apple cider vinegar, cream of tartar, which is potassium. So that's an electrolyte. It's helping me sleep and loads of things. Then I've got the pink salt, which again, 88 essential minerals in that. We need that. And then water, a full lime is in there because that helps your liver. So again, that's great for helping your liver deal with all that estrogen. So I get my female clients to drink that, and that helps with their water retention. Whether they want to drink it all month or not, it doesn't really matter. But people say to me, what does it taste like? I'm like, it tastes like vinegar with salt in it, with lime. But it's not nice.
So you one of them every day, a full lime? Cool.
Aye, it's brilliant. It really does help balance things out, because I don't know if you get this, but do you ever get that hangry feeling? We're like that, pure, like birds get it because if our blood sugar drops, then that's not good for us. Like you start to feel that kind of shaky, weird way, a bit angry. I need some meat. Shout at your man, I need some meat, give me some meat. And that is the blood sugar. But that can happen at certain times of the month. But see if you were tracking your cycle and you were actually tuning in and you actually took some time to learn about this sort of stuff, then see the whole things it opens for you. It's amazing because you start to know why you're doing that. Oh, that's a wee problem there. I can fix that before it then snowballs into a huge health problem. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I always wanted to do with my female clients, because my mum's turned into a huge snowball problem, which could have been fixed so easily if we'd just known this stuff. I just want to give people the information before it gets to that point for them. Yeah. But when you learn about how your female body works, you're like 6 steps ahead. It's amazing. And you just feel well. I mean, how many times do you wake up in the morning and you just feel like you've not slept all night? And you're meant to get on all day with that. You're meant to try and lose weight. You're meant to try and drink apple cider vinegar. Like, see if you feel like that in the morning, you can't be arsed doing anything. So it affects everything. It just trickles into your whole life, doesn't it? Can then you be bothered with your man? No, can he be? Sitting in the room yourself and a half. Don't come in here. Do you know what I mean? So it just trickles into everything. And see if we can learn to work with our hormones, balance our hormones, basically go with your flow. Then that's when you'll feel your best, 100%. Now, women on the pill, you're like that. I feel pure left out because I can't go with my flow. you should cycle. You should do the 2-week cycling, even if you're not having a period. Now, people on the pill, just so that I can clear it up for you, and you think that you're having a period. So I get my clients that are on the pill and they'll be like, oh, but I'm going to stop my pill in 28 days and have a period. You're not having a period. There's nothing about a period there, because that's actually called a pharmaceutical withdrawal. So it's not a period. And I bet you if you'd have known that and the doctor's sitting by you and going, well, you won't bleed, it's actually called a pharmaceutical withdrawal, you'd be like, oh, what's that? That doesn't sound nice, because it's not. Like, so but cycling it for 28 days means that you feel like you're having a period, but you're not, because you're not ovulating. And see, ovulation at our age, so I'm 34, I've still got ovulation left, you know, all these younger girls. Ovulation is what you want to make the most out of. Do you know what I mean? You want to make the most out of your ovulation. That's your Gucci hormone that you're producing. If you're not ovulating, no progesterone's happening. And then we wonder why all these breast cancers are popping up and all these other cancers. Like, so many people are on contraceptive pill. You are then not ovulating. That's shut down. That's gone. Production line stopped. No ovulation's happening. That means there's no progesterone. And then what I've told you is then estrogen's left crazy around your body, just doing what it wants. Do you know what I mean? Then we get a lot of disease, like thyroid disease.
See, when you're talking about the follicular and the luteal phase, obviously
Yes.
we know that that's between 28 and 30 days.
Yes.
The first 6 days, you get certain kind of symptoms and stuff. You get females over-ovulate, is that right? And you can have a few days a month and stuff. So
that's why, see, if you're naturally going to try and track your period, so you're coming off all the contraceptive, right, and you're trying to just manage your period yourself, you really need to get maybe one of these, like, have you seen them? I don't know if you've maybe seen them. It's called Daisy. It's called Natural Cycles, and it's like a wee thermometer, but the technology is so good now. Like, it's so good now. So all your stuff's on an app, and you take your body temperature and see if your body temperature is at a certain temperature, you've ovulated. It won't be that temperature unless you've ovulated, or maybe the coronavirus, but that was in the past. No, but seriously, your body temperature will only be that temperature if you've ovulated. You can also use what's called fertile mucus. Sorry, Roy. Use fertile mucus, right? But that can happen a couple of times a month, like what you've just said. So that's not the best gauge for it. But all these wee indicators are good. You know, if you have the fertile mucus at the time you're ovulating, you've ovulated. You know, if you don't, then should you question that you've ovulated or not? Probably. You know, so it's really good. What do you think of that?
See, like for all the women on the pill listening to this, and now would you recommend they come off that completely and just
I know that I'm going to be godmum to hundreds of babies now. No, I'm kidding. Nah, I think they should. I think you should consider it. I think you should have a chat with your man. Do you know they did a survey, right? You two boys are in here, brilliant. They did a survey on guys, right? And it was like that. Would you take the contraceptive pill? And told you all the side effects, right? And you said no, because you didn't want the hair loss. You didn't want the hormone problems. You didn't want to feel tired. So guys went, no, just let the bird do it. Nah, I don't want that fucking hair loss. Imagine you lost your hair. Roy, imagine.
Nah, I don't want to imagine that, mate.
But that's what I'm saying, right? So there's two people in a relationship, isn't there?
Yeah.
So see if you're at an age where, right, the best form of contraceptive is, if you're not going to have any kids, then it's the snip. Now, listen, it's a 2-minute operation. It's not even an operation. You're 2 minutes in the doctor's surgery because they tie them now. You're in it and you're out. That's the best form of contraceptive there is, without damaging MD's health. Yes. The pill is really far down. The pill's from the 1950s. The 1950s, and we're still using it. Like, they used to promote smoking in the 1950s is good and cool. Have a fag. You know what I mean? We're still using it.
It's mad because, I mean, obviously the snip's a different conversation for them and their partner.
You started to sweat now, haven't you, Roy?
Even just with the contraceptive, like how that's suppressing all these natural processes in the body, and your body's not getting a chance to get through those cycles. So it's no wonder that females their emotions are all over the place sometimes.
100%. It's criminal. It's actually criminal to women to do that.
It's scary.
It's awful that women should have their hormones shut down for contraceptive. It's scary. My favourite contraceptive is using the temperature gauge. I think it's brilliant. There's just so much. It's called Natural Cycles. You can buy it online. It's really, really good. My next one, if you were really, really going to have to do that, would be, obviously you get condoms and stuff like that, but it would be the coil. Now the coil, it's not my favorite. It's not my favorite, but it doesn't shut down ovulation as much as what the pill does. The other issue you've got with the pill is it's got something called progesterone in it, right? So you've got progesterone and progesterone in the pill, so we can sometimes read this and go, that's fine. You'll be away reading your pill box tonight, like, that's fine, it's got progesterone, she was taught about that. No, it's not the same, it's not bioidentical to your body, so your body doesn't even recognise that as progesterone, so it can't even kid on that it is. And side effects, so effects of progesterone, right, is calming your anxiety down. So if you're anxious, then maybe you've got a progesterone problem. This is if you've got a natural cycle. So makes your hair nice and thick, right? Makes your skin nice. Now, progesterone in the pill, side effects are anxiety. I mean, for fuck's sake, anxiety, depression, hair thinning, weight gain. That's side effects of the pill. Now, come on, I don't even call them side effects. I call them effects of the pill. Would you not? I wouldn't say that's a side
100%,
effect.
mate. And the thing is, see the amount of young girls you see that they start to go into contraceptive and they do, their weight just balloons.
Mm-hmm. And it's
like
terrible.
For a certain period of time, but even just those side effects with something that obviously they're led down a garden path to suggest that it's a positive thing. But 2 seconds, mate. Heather's got her hand up. I'll unmute her. She's obviously got a question.
I thought she was just high-fiving me. I was just about
fire away, Heather, mate.
Sorry, I'm actually out with the dog, but I'll hopefully no one passes as I'm asking questions about my coil.
all the time, a little right arsehole.
So I suppose my question was, I know obviously a lot of the girls or whatnot have been on the pill maybe for, well, I was on it when I was 16, I'm 38, and I came off it after I had my wee boy, and I actually changed to the coil. So I've been on the coil for 10 years, so 2 runs of 5 years basically, and I've never had a period in those 10 years. So I suppose in terms of that, I really struggle because I get very, very mild symptoms, Kirstine.
You will do, mate. You'll get mild symptoms.
I probably couldn't pinpoint at any point in the month where actually I was technically kind of on my period. So I suppose I'm kind of really keen and interested to hear your thoughts around the coil, just as you kind of started talking there, because I just, obviously there was a bit of a focus on the pill, because I appreciate that's, a really common form of contraception, but I suppose
the most used. Mm-hmm. Especially for young girls, the pill is given out, say I'm a young girl and I go to the doctor for acne, I get given the pill. Like, really? That's not going to fix your acne?
I know, because my niece is only like 14, nearly 15. She went to the doctors and she had quite heavy periods, etc. And the recommendation was go on the pill. And I said to my sister, no, she doesn't need to. She doesn't need to be in the pill. She's only 14.
Awful. And the reason it does fix the issue. Like, that anytime you go and you get it, the reason it fixes issues because it cuts off the production of your own hormones. But see, that problem that you had, whether it be acne or the heavy periods, that's waiting for you in perimenopause. That's waiting in the background. That's just getting bigger. That's like somebody going to jail and just training every day, then gets released and like, you know what I mean? That's waiting for you. So
I know. So it was just really the kind of, I suppose, around the kind of coil and I guess effects of that, and not really knowing my cycle, and just probably trying to be a wee bit more in tune with it. So no, it's just some food for thought for me. So I was just appreciative of it, but I guess I'll need to consider potentially getting it out.
I think you should. I think it's
we've got 4 children between us, and my husband's had the snip, so there's no really much need.
Just go at that time. Do you want 5 kids, mate?
No, he's had the snip. He's had the snip years ago, so
then get it out, mate.
That's the thing, Heather. I mean, you're married, and if he's got the snip, then is there any point of having that in anyway? You know what I mean?
No, I know, and I think it's just something that kind of became habit. And I just remember thinking, oh God, he's probably never known me not with a coil, and I'm not sure if he'd still be married to me if I took it out. He's not seen the cycle stage.
No, he's probably like that anyway, Heather, to be fair. You know what I mean? Like, these are all kinds of arses. It doesn't actually matter, coil, pill or not. But for your own health, you'd probably be better getting it out, mate, definitely. Because there's a lot of things, it's even like with the copper coil, so you're putting that copper into your system, and that has
I had that originally. I had that one, and it did not agree with me. I could have pointed it out in my body. I was crazy with a capital C. And I got it out and they changed it over. I had some issues, kind of cervical and precancerous cells, and when they were changing things over and giving me treatment for that, they gave me the Mirena So they changed over to the Mirena. So I've had that for like 8 years or something, 9 years, but I was a copper before that. But it's just some food for thought for me.
I think you should definitely get it out and just try and get back to natural. The best way to do it is to get back to as much nature as you can. We've been so removed from nature, it's unreal. Like, we're even sitting with artificial lights on at a time we shouldn't have lights on. Do you know what I mean? Just loads and loads of things. So see if you can get your cycle at least back to as natural as possible. It might take you a few months, it might take you 6 months, but in the long run, it's well worth doing.
No, appreciate that. Thanks, Christine. Appreciate that.
That's okay,
Thanks, Heather. Appreciate it.
Cheers, pal.
So, Christine, see, just on that, like, obviously Heather's just admitted there that it's been 10 years plus contraceptive, 10 years in the coil.
10 years with the, where is that now? That's still in the same place 10 years later?
See, there's a lot of females tuning in thinking or considering coming off the contraceptive. Is there things that they need to maybe err on the side of caution with, things they need to watch out for? Because I'd imagine when their natural hormones kick back in, it'll fucking hit them like a ton of bricks.
Yeah, it's called a hormone surge, basically. And you need to kind of get over the tidal wave of that, because it's going to come whether you like it or not, but you can't run from it forever. Do you know what I mean? So just deal with it and support your body through it. It's like my ladies that are going through the menopause or the perimenopause. Like, we don't want to stop it. You can't stop it. Do you know what I mean? What, HRT, and then you just press pause and you need to deal with it later when you're not meant to deal with it anyway. So I just like to support people through it, and I just use different things like supplements. I watch their training. I just work closely with them. There's post-pill syndrome that you do get. Some women can get their period back a month, 6 months. Some people don't get their period back. Do you know what I mean? But you shouldn't be shutting off your hormones. Like, you need those hormones. And that's the issue as you get older. What you've done in your kind of 20s, teens, even the pill, teens, 20s, 30s, that will affect you as you start to get older and you're hitting the perimenopausal age. That will affect you because you're so far removed from your body's natural cycle. Circadian rhythm it is for women. That's what it's called. So
interesting. But I cannot believe how many people or how many women are just talked into doing it without actually knowing.
It's just dead normal, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, it's just as dead normal. Like, one of my female clients, she was telling me that I was talking to her about the coil, and we were talking about how she should get it out and just different things that was wrong with her. And she got her man, he was like, I'll go and get the snip, darling. I'll go and do it for you. He went to the doctor, right? And it was a male, older doctor that basically said to him, no, what are you doing? Just get her to get the coil. What are you doing here for the snip? This older guy. And I just thought, fuck, man, we are just fighting an uphill battle here, because it's just so normal for the bird just to, you just take the pill in, that's fine, shut your ovaries down. Do you know what I mean? But it's just so normalised, and it's terrible. I think if you were sat down with a doctor that told you all this, listen, it means you're not going to ovulate. If you don't ovulate, it means this, it means this, it means that. Do you know what I mean? You have withdrawal bleeds. It's not a real bleed. I think that you would sit and go, okay, you know, short-term fix. If you want your acne away, take the pill, short-term fix. But the acne is going to come back. It's going to come back worse. Are they told that? I don't think so. At 14, getting stuck on the pill. Teenagers will have heavy periods. It takes a decade for your period to level out. Do you know what I mean? It's the same. It's puberty. You're up and down. You've got hormones up and down everywhere. You're crazy. That will settle, but you need time. You need to give a teenager time. I've actually got a good video on my YouTube, and it's called Should My Daughter Take the Pill? And it's basically all about this and what you should maybe know before you take your daughter for the pill. Do you know what I mean? Because you don't get told it. You actually don't get told it.
So folk know where to find that.
It's on my Instagram and my link. If you click it, then it'll just take you straight to the YouTube, and there's just other wee bits and bobs about hormones on there. But like, I'm sure, honestly, if you took your daughter and you were sitting with her and that was explained to you, you would be sitting there going, oh, fuck, I don't want her to go on that. Do you not think so? Whereas we're just like, there you go, there's your pill, there's your wee Yasmin, away you go, pop it every day. You don't really know what's happening in your body.
Aye. I think even for some of the older women on this is probably going to be a light bulb moment for them, because essentially what we're talking about is what we talk about when I talk about nutrition and stuff. You're kind of protecting your energy. You're doing things naturally, because I think if someone was to, for instance, take a spell off the contraceptive and start to listen to their body, then they could, as you say, start to tailor their training when they have more energy, start to protect their emotions and their energy when they feel a little bit lower, and then they're not actually calling themselves a psycho or using an excuse for it. They're starting to get a better understanding of where they are in their cycle. But let's say, for instance, somebody comes off the contraceptive and their emotions are just all over the place and they are getting a bit psychotic, and because you hear that a lot of people have to take medication and stuff because they've got severe PMT and all this. So what would you suggest for that kind of type of thing?
I always start with like, let's just diet, just nourish yourself now. It's a time to like replenish yourself, get all the good nutrients in, you know, all the good healthy fats, all that you'll know about, so that you're just giving yourself the proper fuel. Then your hydration, you know, and see if you do that, you're already on the way to feeling better. You know what I mean? See if you come off the pill and your diet's rotten and you're up late, like anyway, you're going to feel bad, didn't you? So this is the time to really like take care of yourself, really up your self-care. And I'm always reluctant to say, oh, just buy a supplement, because people want it to be this wonder drug. And I also don't like people wasting their money, because I was one of those folk. I'd buy anything. I bought 6-second abs. Did you? No? You got abs in 6 seconds. Did you buy that? No, just me. But do you know what I mean? So I don't like people wasting their money, but a supplement that I do think works the best that I see is that CBD. Really brilliant. It's really good, and it just helps take the edge off things. But your hormones are going to need to level out one way or another. You just need to support yourself through it. You can't stop feeling like a cycle if you feel like a cycle. You just need to be mindful that this is why. Let's try and see if you're training. Let's do a bit of walking. Do you know what I mean? Stuff like that to support your body through that. Because post-pill syndrome is different for everyone. I have noticed that. Some people breeze it, they come off, they're fine. Some people have a wee bit of anxiety. Some people are crippled with anxiety. So I really would need to work with the person. Basic advice I would give is your diet's really, really good. You take that time to rest. Your training's clever. You don't pound yourself with training. Do you know what I mean? You go for walks, because that kind of creates space. You feel better. And the one supplement I would suggest is the CBD, and the magnesium is really good as well. And that's better through the skin. So that's better in a spray or the bath or something like that.
Well, you know, we were obviously going to do this talk next week and do the food one this week. I'm glad we touched on this week, because as you said, if you start to clean up your nutritional quality and stuff, you start to feel better. So you're much more well equipped. Your digestive system's optimizing and all that kind of stuff. So it's probably a perfect time for people to maybe experiment a wee bit with this while they're doing this challenge, when they're starting to clean up their habits and their structures and their routines are a bit better anyway. So, but obviously it's not my forte and it's not my expertise. I've got a little bit of knowledge on the phases, but I don't want to start saying to everybody on this live, right, get off your fucking pill or get your coil out. Like, would you recommend they work with somebody specialist while they're doing that, or do you think it's fine for them to just go ahead and do that? Like,
I think they need to research about their bodies. There's loads and loads of stuff out there. I mean, if you even look on my Instagram, you'll pick up things and watch some of the YouTube. There's loads of stuff out there, but I would get knowledge. Knowledge is power, isn't it? Like, the more you know, the more confident you'll feel about doing stuff like this. And it's just having the confidence in your body being able to heal itself, and it can. Do you know what I mean? Given the right environment, given the right nourishment, then why can't it? Do you know what I mean? And it's just, so there's loads of information out there, but I do think people need to really think about what it's doing to their body, or at least know what it's doing. Do you know what I mean? At least you know now what it's doing. At least you know now.
It goes back to what you're saying. Folk will just tell you to buy this and buy that because they don't really understand it. But I'm a great believer, and I always say this to the folk that join my challenge. I think, see, when you've got a catalyst or an understanding or a better knowledge on a specific subject, kind of you've just told everybody, hopefully that now will be a catalyst or a seed planted for them to go, you know what, I owe it to myself to go and look into this now, because this could be horrendous for me long term. So why the fuck would you not go and look? It's the same with food. Why would you not try and clean up your diet if you know the health implications?
And that's free to do. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's that's free. Like, feeling better doesn't need to cost you a lot. I think that's where people go wrong as well. I think they'll try and spend a lot of money on feeling better, when actually the foundations of feeling great is something you don't need to spend a lot of money on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. See, when you were talking about your CBD oil, obviously you mentioned the luteal phase is more the kind of fatigue phase and all that kind of stuff.
That's when I would take that the most.
So would you cycle it for the last 2 weeks and then come off that for 2 weeks?
To be honest, I take it every day. I take it every day, but I would up it sometimes on my second phase. And for my clients that are suffering a wee bit more with anxiety or like just feeling a bit short, like I don't know if you ever feel like this, but there's like, you just feel a bit fucking irritated. Somebody can just say hi to you and you're like, see the way they just said hi to me? I'm fucking annoyed now. You know what I mean? You can always tell when you're looking through Instagram if you're on what phase of your period. On your follicular phase, you're like, oh, that's nice. Oh, on your, you're like, look at that fucking arsehole again. Look at her. Do you know what I mean? You can always tell on Instagram how you're feeling. Oh, I'm in that phase, am I? So I take the CBD all the time, but for my clients, I would up it, yeah. And magnesium as well. There's a supplement, there's loads of supplements you can take. Ashwagandha, which is a good supplement to help your body cope with stress. But the main things I would do is try and support your gut and your liver. And I know you do a lot on the gut health anyway, and teaching people about that, because that's huge. That's massively important for hormones.
Yeah, I know we're going to go in next week, you're back on, and we're going to get into more kind of food and supplements anyway, so you can go into the benefits of all that then. But if anybody's got any questions for Christine, type them in the comments or raise your hand. But while they're doing that, Christine, why don't you take, that's a good opportunity for you to talk about your course that you're doing, because obviously you're more specialist, and I'm happy for them to jump on board with you. And when's it launching? What's it about? Just give them
September the 6th it's launching. It's called Go Your Flow. So it's basically like everything that I've just spoke about today. It's going to be working with me for 4 weeks and basically trying to work out and make yourself feel better. I do this on a 1-to-1 with women. It's called my health and wellness consultation. So what I'm doing now is I sit down and we do 1-to-1, but because I'm so busy, I feel like I'm missing out a bunch of people. So I'm going to put a course on, and I'm just going to be taking you through. I'm going to be teaching you all the warning signs about your hormones, what they are. People don't know what your hormones do or what they are or when they appear, or do you know what I mean? So I'll just be teaching the basics, teaching you how to feel better. Going to be training plans around your cycle, nutrition around your cycle, supplements around the cycle. So you'll have a lot of knowledge. That's what I'm hoping, that you have a lot of knowledge by the time you're finished the course. So you kind of go from like clueless what's going on with your body to then being confident and knowing what's going on. Do you know what I mean? Because once you know, you know, and it's lifetime access. So it becomes your wee Bible. You can refer back to it, and you'll have me live question and answers. And I just want to make it a really good environment for people to learn in. It's just going to be a bunch of women. That's what I'm saying. It's just going to be hunters of estrogen, fucking 4 weeks, man. I actually already live with 3 women, just so you know. So see, when I have guy pals, like it's good. There's some testosterone on here. Not you, Roy, but you know.
No, I think what you're doing is absolutely fantastic, mate. And the more that I delve into it, it's the same with the more I delve into the gut and nutrition and stuff. I think there's just always something else to kind of uncover and learn, you know. And I think this is a topic that I'm so glad that I got you on to talk about.
It's cool, isn't it? It's cool.
It's cool, but it's important. That's what it is. It's very important.
It's very cool. Will we answer some of these questions? I've got them up as well. Do you read them out?
If you can see them, just get through them when you go then.
Right, so I was wanting you to read them out.
Right, okay, let's do that. So I've been doing.
I want you to do something. Do you know what I mean? Fucking on here. Just sit back, Roy. You've just been away on holiday for 2 days.
So in regards to your morning tonic, I think we covered this anyway, but is that something that you recommend daily all month?
You can do it daily, 100% daily, because it's amazing. It's a good wee ritual in the morning to do, isn't it? Do you have a wee morning routine, Roy, that you do?
Yeah, so I got up in the morning.
Isn't it better? Nobody wants to know it, but I just want to know if you heard it. I got up in the morning, I thought, we know, right, you've got nothing to do, you're not on a period. But it's good to have a morning routine, isn't it? You do feel better. So part of your morning routine, wee morning tonic.
So just cover what's in that again. So you've got lime juice, you've got
a full lime, because that helps your liver. So you don't want your liver under pressure. That is when things start to go bad. So you've got that full in it. Then you've got apple cider vinegar, which helps with the blood sugar. Then you've got cream of tartar, which you actually buy like in the baking aisle. It's for like scones or something really weird. You've got a wee bit of that. See, on my Instagram, I've got the exact measurements, by the way, because if you put too much potassium in, you'll have diarrhea. But it's a good tip to know if anybody's annoyed you. Just in the water, you can't taste it. And then you've got a wee bit of the pink Himalayan salt, which has got 88 essential minerals in it. So you can't go wrong with that. So I take that every day. Yes.
Okay, mate. So does your course help people who have gone through the menopause and still have hormonal issues?
Yeah, because we go through a lot of like hormone problem shooting. Do you know what I mean? So acne, you know, moods, we go through a lot of like problems and solutions. So it's good just to know. And like I said before, even if you're not having a period or you're going through the menopause, then you should still come on the course and do the cycle, do the flow, and then have that as what you do. So you do training hard for 2 weeks, then you take it easy for 2 weeks, you low carb for 2. So do the flow, even if you've not got it. And there's a way I use the moon for people who aren't having a period. So I can go into more detail. That takes a wee while. But I definitely think that anyone could come on and learn about female health. You're going to benefit from it. Do you know what I mean?
That kind of covers the next question. So you don't have to be planning and coming off your contraceptive to join your...
No.
Right, okay.
No.
I've been on the pill continuously for 10 years. I only off it due to pain. Would you still recommend I come off it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Any advice on MS and medication with the coil?
It's a hard one. It's like not related, but I think that I would just try and get back to as natural as possible, just with anything. Even if I had a health condition or I didn't, like you can't go wrong with getting back to as natural as you can. Do you know what I mean? And supporting your body through it. Remember, all these things are switching off things in your body that you need on. That's the bottom line. You need it on. You know, It's pure criminal, but it's sad that it's the only way that women see, isn't it? It's like, that's your only option there. Yeah, take it.
I definitely, mate. And
it's terrible.
I think we're just so quick to take medication and brush things under the rug. And it really kind of spoke to me that what you said there about like all of these hormonal issues that folk take to cover them up, and then they almost just kind of wait for you because you're masking it, and eventually you're going to need to face it.
That's the issue with it, to be honest. It's you're going to need to face the problem, and it's just been waiting there in the background, you know, getting worse. You've not fixed the problem. It's not a solution. The pill or the contraception is never a solution.
Yeah,
it's not. It's shutting down production, and you need that. We need to make the most of ovulating and the time you can ovulate, because it's how you get all the goodness in your body is that progesterone hormone. So if you're not getting that, and I mean, you might not be on the pill or whatever, and you could still not be getting that hormone. That's the issue as well. But if you're out of tune and don't know the signs of you not ovulating, then that's an issue. Do you know what I mean? So it's ovulation is the key to female health. That's what it is. And if you're not ovulating, then it's a bit of a problem for all aspects.
I suppose that, I mean, you could relate that to all things of health. I think we're so busy trying to mask things up. Like you mentioned it earlier, that folk are running about try to function with 4 or 5 coffees a day just to give them energy and just to feel good, you know. And I think if we strip it back, and I think I would go as far to say as all these teenagers like with acne and hormonal issues, they probably get fucking ultra processed diets.
Totally.
And if you started to hydrate more and eat better and speak about the chippy for the lunch, they would probably fucking combat a lot of this stuff anyway, instead of just getting punted on some medication to try and mask that hormone, you know.
That's the thing about it. Half pizza crunch and a fag for your breakfast. Like I don't know why I feel bad.
There's a few folk asking where they can sign up. I think I'm going to need commission off this, mate.
I will be posting it up because I'm going to keep the numbers limited, because there's only so much women you can put up with at the one time. Do you not think so? Like, I don't want to give myself a hormone problem. So I'm going to limit the numbers, and I'm going to launch it on my Instagram. So you'll see it. I'm sure you'll share it, Roy, for a wee cut. Do you know what I mean? I'll get you a protein powder or something.
I think what we should do is we should keep 5 to 10 exclusive Mission Fit positions.
Maybe. Because I'm going to cap the numbers, because see, when there's millions of them and they're all chatting at the one time, you can't give a good service, you know what it's like. You'll be the same.
No, of course, because it's very specialist and you want everybody to get the same service.
I want people to get a lot out of it.
What are you thinking in terms of numbers? What are you going to cap it at?
I'm going to finish off a wee bit of the course I've got left, and then I'm going to look at it and see what I could handle.
Right, okay.
It's better now with the schools going back. Before I was like that, I can't do this. See, when the schools were off, terrible, like awful time. That is an endurance test in itself. See, if I don't have a hormone problem now after the school's been off for Salby, there's a miracle. So that's CPD. So I'm going to finish off my wee bit I've got left, and then I'm going to tell people how many folk I'll take on, but I'm definitely going to be capping it.
Excellent, mate. Yeah, no, that's brilliant, and I think I've definitely posted Christine's kind of Instagram link on the page. It'll be under it'll be under one of the topics anyway. I'll repost it on the group so you guys can find her page and go and follow her, have a wee nosy at her stuff. I know you're back
weird Instagram.
You're back next week. We're going to talk about some supplements and some food anyway, and then if you've got any more information on your course and you're kind of closer to finalising numbers, you can drop some more information then. All right?
That. Sorted.
Right, okay, mate. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you everyone else for tuning in. If you have any other questions and you've not the chance to ask them, or you're scared to ask them on a public forum, take a note of them, drop me, Nicky, or Sean a private message, and we'll get them over to Christine and we can get them answered for you. All right. Cheers, guys. Take care.
See you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.